Welcome, everyone. People always say, I would love to do something one day, and day one never happens. But today, we're finally doing it. He's Jay, I'm Chip, and we've been talking about this for a while. So, what we're going to do, we love picking games. Jay loves college. I pay attention to pros a little bit more, but we're going to do a little mix. We even have a surprise at the end for everyone. So what we're going to do is kick off our picks. I'm going to give you my college pick for this week. And that pick, we all know what happened in Michigan. Jim Harbaugh exited town. They lost a lot of players. They're kind of depleted. And for Michigan to get points at home, who would have thunk? For that reason, it's too easy to take Michigan. I'm taking Texas. They have a pretty strong team this year, and I think they're going to come out of the gate, and I think they're going to cover the 7.5. With that being said, go ahead, Jay. Show us what you got.
Here we go. You can see, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but I'm wearing my Nittany Lions jersey. Big Penn State guy here. Love college football. That's why I'm a little bit more comfortable on the college football end. Today we're going to start off with my first pick. Okay, you got the Maryland Terps facing Michigan State Spartans. Game's at Maryland. Right now the line being -9.5 Maryland. Love the Terps this week. Love the Terps. Couple reasons why. Well, first of all, Michigan State in their first game with new head coach Jonathan Smith and a little bit of a depleted team somewhat in terms of talent. What I mean by that is right now 247 rankings has them as 41st in terms of talent level. Maryland 25th. Okay,
wow.
So Jonathan Smith's debut for the Michigan State Spartans. What do? At home, they come out and they win 16-10 against an AAC opponent in Florida Atlantic. Are you kidding me? Florida Atlantic at home. And you can't go for more than 16.
That's almost impossible, Jay.
I'm with you, right? Incredibly sloppy play, 12 penalties, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait a minute. This seems too easy. Maryland, by the way, 50-7 explosion over Connecticut. 50-7. Okay, you want some more statistics? Here we go. All right. Billy Edwards Jr., the new quarterback from Maryland. Of course, everybody's so concerned. Oh my God, are we going to be able to replace to his brother? No problem. All he does is come in, slings it for a QBR rating of 74% and a passer rating of 136.5. He completed 74% of his passes.
Pretty impressive.
The other guy, we got, let's see, this is quarterback Aiden Childs for Michigan State. Completed 41% of his passes for a 21.88 passer rating. Chip, I got a question for you. Is that bad?
I might be able to do better.
That's bad.
It's been a while.
It's horrific. Okay? And that was against Florida Atlantic. Okay?
That's crazy.
All right. So you're wondering about, well, who are the weapons? Who do they got? Let me tell you right now, Kate, you're going to want to remember this name, Caden Prather. Okay? What did he do? What's the big deal? Well, this guy torched the secondary of UConn last week. 13 catches, 238 yards. Chip, I got a question for you. Is that good?
I'm perplexed.
Man's perplexed. I think it's pretty decent. I'd say above average at least. Let's look at the yardage. Maryland. They only went off for 638 yards and 29 first downs to go with the 50 points last week. Okay? We're talking about, in my mind, a clear edge for the Maryland Terps. All right? So we get to one more statistics just to back this up. Michigan State's 1-2 versus the spread in their last 3 road games. And let's see, we talked about the talent already. So at that point, I think that I've hopefully provided you with enough information to go, yeah, this is going to be easy. Don't be scared of the 9.5. It's still under 10. Love it.
Jay, I think I'm jumping on it.
Maryland, minus 9.5.
Love it.
Go for it. Next game, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech playing Syracuse. Georgia Tech, the current line that I have is minus 2.5 at Syracuse. Okay? Now, Georgia Tech, their last 2 games. First game of the season, most of you probably know. They upset Florida State 24-21. And then a lot of people were like, I don't know if they can follow that one up. Not sure they can follow that one up, right? Usually something like that with the Georgia Tech team, they fold the next week. Nope. 35-12, they defeated Georgia State. Now, a couple things I want you to know about this game. First of all, Syracuse D-line, major issues, okay? Giving up 436 yards to the Ohio Bobcats in week 1. I got to tell you, what really stands out here, Chip, 255 rushing yards on 38 attempts the Bobcats had against that defense of Syracuse.
Wow.
Okay? What is it? It's 6.7 yards per carry, folks.
That's tremendous.
6.7 yards per carry. Let me tell you what, this team coming in this week, right? The Ramblin' Wreck, completely different running game. Ohio's got a good running game. This one coming to town is going to be dangerous. All right? Georgia Tech brings in a vaunted rushing attack with a quarterback that loves to run. In 2 games this season versus Georgia State and Florida State, he's got 20 carries for 81 yards, so he's averaging over 4 yards a carry as a quarterback. Remember, what factors into that is if you're sacked, those minus yards, right? Averaging over 4 yards a carry. In their 2 games, Georgia Tech, they've rushed for 415 yards in their 2 games. 190 versus Florida State, 225 versus Georgia State. Okay, so they have a vaunted attack. And again, you're going against Florida State, which was supposed to have this outstanding front 7. Not completely looking that way, but hey, we still got to give credit, 190 rushing yards. Defensively, this team, Georgia Tech, gets stronger as the game goes on, right? Giving up a total of 16 second half points. So, you know, you want to do yourself a favor, right? You want to take the wife or the girlfriend out for a nice dinner. Help yourself to Georgia Tech. Lay the lumber, minus 2.5. So that closes up our college picks.
Great job, Jay. Great job.
Up next, we're going to have Chip bringing in the NFL picks.
Jay, do you want to give us your little pick this week for the NFL? I know you have one. You're always good for one, Jay. Come on.
Folks, I have an NFL pick, okay, but it's not a standard pick. The NFL pick that I have this week is actually a player, okay? This player happened to play for the Nittany Lions, one of my favorite of all time. You may have heard of him, named Saquon Barkley, okay? I couldn't believe when I looked at the individual stats and the individual lines, and I saw that Saquon Barkley, right, 15.5 receiving yards for this first game against Green Bay. 15.5. Are you kidding me? Let me tell you what. First of all, Saquon Barkley is going to be a centerpiece of this offense. You know one of the things that Saquon Barkley does pretty good, even going back to his Penn State days? Catching the football, okay? What do you think's going to happen when the Eagles have all these weapons, right? And they decide, well, we're going to fire those receivers out. We got weapons at receiver. And you know what? We're going to take the tight end And we're going to have the tight end, Dallas Goedert, occupy the middle of the field and see if those linebackers can actually cover the guy. Yeah, they got to have their eye on him. And when that happens, folks, the good old wheel route to Saquon Barkley, how you doing? It might be the first catch that he makes that he gets 16 yards and makes the 15.5 number. My guess is it doesn't go any more than 2, and he's already by it. So you ask yourself, folks, do you think Saquon Barkley will catch 2 passes in that game? Because if you do, you, like me, are taking the over on the 15.5 receiving yards for Saquon Barkley. Chip, what do you think?
I love it because you said it, and my interjection was going to be he's going to get that on his first touch. First carry, wheel route coming out, boom. It's going to be 16, 17 yards, if not more, and he's going to light it up. So there we have it, and here comes the NFL picks. Well, Jay, here we go with the NFL.
Oh, boy.
You know week one's always hard. They don't play preseason games anymore. There's no iron on iron to see what we have, who's playing, and try to get a good feel who's coming out in a good way. So it's always more challenging than starting off in college because of the fact that you have a couple pre-gamers in there. You can see what people are doing. So who comes out of the gate in the last couple of years since he became head coach? Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins. They come out of the gate. They have speed. Speed kills. Am I right? So I'm going to go with Miami over Jags. They're not used to this high-powered speed offense. Because of that, I think they're going to have trouble catching up, like most teams do week one. Because you know Mike McDaniel's coming out full throttle. He loves to do that. He's a Miami guy, and like I said, speed kills down in there. Here we go, and it's in Miami. So I'm going to go with Miami minus 3.5 as that first pick.
Love the pick. Love the pick. Miami, especially early on in the season, danger.
Absolutely.
I know they faded a little bit towards the end of the season last year, but early on, you got to jump on them. Great
We're not
pick.
worried about the end. We're worried about tomorrow or this weekend, the first one.
Great pick.
Here's a stat for you, Jay.
I'm all
Here's
ears.
a stat. Since 2003, 15 quarterbacks have been taken overall number 1. 15 quarterbacks. You know what their record is? 0-14-1.
No.
Absolutely. Now we have the first overall pick this year, which usually go to a horrible team. But guess what? Chicago, they stepped up their game. They have weapons this year. And they started to play well at the end of last year. I got to be honest with you. I was on the fence about this rookie coming out. I don't even want to mention his name yet because I'm still on the fence about him. Because he seemed like a little too comfortable. But it seems like he's absorbing everything. First couple plays or passes in his first preseason game, threw a couple interceptions, even in practice. And he is favored in this game. That is unheard of. So I'm going with the Bears, minus 4.5.
He likes the Bears. I like it.
The Bears.
I like it. Here we go.
Look at the weapons they have.
It's fair.
They have weapons, and their defense isn't bad either.
Let's keep it
So
moving.
look for them, again, for that minus 4.5.
Minus 4 and a hook. He
That's
likes
right.
it, folks. He
Now,
likes it.
Here it comes. This pick jumped out at me. I'll get quick here. Actually, this one, I don't usually like to do the money line, Jay. I know we talk about money lines a lot.
We do.
And you like the money line.
I do.
But you have
Fair.
to be correct because it could hurt you.
Oof.
It could hurt you. We've seen everything happen, right?
Yes, we have.
But this is the first offseason where Joe Burrow comes in since 2020, I believe, healthy and ready to go. He's not dinged up. They always start off slow. They do every year. I've actually had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase as my fantasy tandem, only to wait for them to get to 7, week 8. But this year, I saw a picture of Joe coming in with blonde locks. He looks a little thicker. He paid his rent. And I love Cincinnati against New England. New England, they're going to struggle. Their defense is at the bottom end.
Lying.
They have a new coach. Obviously, Bill Belichick. He exited New England. So I have to go with the highest line given points of opening week number 1, Cincinnati -8.5. And like I said, Jay, don't be afraid to take the money line, because this should be one of those. What, Jay?
It's just too easy.
What do they call them?
Too easy. You just gotta lock it up. It's a stone cold
There it is. There
rock.
it is. There it is.
Oh,
There it is. Now we have one exciting segment that's going to be coming to us every week called Mr. Monday Night. Unfortunately, he's not here and he couldn't call in, but he got his pick. And basically, his info on his pick is, how does the Jets get 3.5 points going into San Francisco against a team that went to the Super Bowl with the best running back on the planet? How does that happen? Aaron Rodgers went down in 4 plays last year. I believe it was 4, right? Something like that. He didn't finish his coffee in the first game, but guess what?
It was short.
Guess what? And he was kind of half-assing it. Why are they getting only 3.5 points? Bet the house, Mr. Monday Night says, on the Jets getting 3.5. And with that being said, Jay, I have to tell you, we've been kicking around this idea for a while, and we tried different thoughts, but I'm glad we're here. I'm glad hopefully we'll have some people watching, but I don't care. This is for you and I. We finally did day 1 on our first podcast, and give me some. I am so ecstatic that we finally did it, and hopefully we'll be here week after week after week with our Fireside football chat, giving our picks in college and pro, and we might mix in some other tidbits too.
Chip, I'm going to touch briefly on what you said. This is about having fun, right?
Without a doubt.
And at the end of the day, we've ham-hawed for almost 3 years.
I think it's more, Jay. I really do.
And tonight, our inaugural night of the show, folks, I couldn't be happier. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to finally getting this going here. The Fireside chat, as Chip referenced, it's the first of hopefully many episodes. Brother.
I hope we do, because we both enjoy this.
I love it. It's so much fun. It's a passion of ours, and I can only hope that we get to, we're talking about episode 100 or 200 down the line.
It would be. I would be overwhelmed if we did that. I hope we do, because like I said, you have to get started. We finally did it.
Yep.
And for that, thanks for coming.